The forbidden tomato, 17th century Europe. Wealthy nobles stopped eating tomatoes because people kept dying after meals. The reason wasn't poison, it was chemistry. Tomatoes reacted with pewter plates, leaching deadly lead into food, while peasants eating from wooden bowls stayed healthy. For nearly 200 years, the tomato was feared as the devil's apple. Science eventually cleared its name, but generations avoided it in terror. The forbidden cheese, 1600s, Switzerland. Emmental cheese was condemned because its holes were believed to be signs of evil. Church officials claimed the bubbles meant the devil was breathing through the milk. Cheesemakers faced punishment, and villagers destroyed their own cheese out of fear. Centuries later, bacteria, not demons, were found to be responsible for the holes. Death by pineapple, 18th century, England. Pineapples were so rare and valuable that stealing one could get you executed. They were displayed at banquets as status symbols, sometimes never even eaten. Guards were hired to protect them. One accusation of pineapple theft carried the same punishment as stealing a horse. Death by hanging. The Swedish coffee experiment, 1746, Sweden. King Gustav III believed coffee was deadly and ordered a human experiment to prove it. Two identical twins on death row were spared. One forced to drink tea daily, the other coffee. Years passed, the doctors died, the king was assassinated, and the tea drinker died first. The coffee drinker lived the longest, completely undermining the king's belief. The Ottoman coffee ban, 17th century, Istanbul. Coffee houses were blamed for rebellion, so Sultan Murad IV banned coffee entirely. He disguised himself and patrolled the streets, personally punishing violators. Coffee drinkers met in secret basements and passed cups through holes in walls. Coffee became a symbol of political resistance. The Great Chocolate Crime, 1940s, wartime Britain. Chocolate was rationed and tightly price-controlled. One shopkeeper charged a child 1 penny extra and was prosecuted by the government. Newspapers mocked the case nationwide. He became known as Britain's most dangerous confectioner. The Bouncing Pickle Law, early 20th century, Connecticut. Officials needed a way to stop merchants from selling rotten pickles. Their solution was literal, a quality test. Good pickles bounced, bad ones splattered. Merchants were fined after inspectors dropped pickles on the floor to decide their fate. The beard tax of Russia, 1705, Russia. Tsar Peter the Great ordered men to shave to modernize the country. Those who refused paid a beard tax and carried proof tokens. Even corpses were inspected before burial. Beard tokens have since been found sewn into grave clothing as quiet acts of defiance. The king's giant kidnappers. 18th century, Prussia. King Frederick William I wanted the tallest army in Europe. Recruiters were sent across the continent to seize tall men by force. Families hid their sons, and some giants were exchanged between rulers as political gifts. Height became a liability. The Great Hat Pin Panic. Early 1900s, United States and Europe. Women's hats were secured with steel pins up to 10 inches long. In crowded cities, people were injured and even blinded. Governments passed laws limiting pin length. Police stopped women in public and measured their hat pins with rulers. The illegal ice cream cone. Early 20th century, United States. Strict Sunday laws banned frivolous behavior. In some towns, eating ice cream from a cone was illegal, but eating it from a bowl was allowed. Police enforced the rule and violators were fined. The distinction became a national joke. The mirror monopoly of Venice. Medieval Venice. Mirrors were luxury items controlled by the Murano glassmakers. Selling mirror secrets to outsiders was punishable by exile or death. Craftsmen were closely watched, and defectors were hunted. For centuries, your reflection was a guarded privilege. The Salmon Act, 13th century, England. To stop illegal fishing and black market trade, lawmakers banned handling salmon in suspicious circumstances. The wording was vague but intentional. Centuries later, the law was rediscovered and became infamous for its ambiguity, and it technically still exists. The vampire panic laws. 18th century, Eastern Europe. Fear of vampires spread across villages and into government offices. Officials authorized grave exhumations to inspect suspected undead. Bodies were staked or burned under state supervision. These events are recorded in official Austrian and Serbian documents. The Boston Molasses Flood. 1919, Boston. A massive molasses tank burst without warning. A 25-foot wave of syrup rushed through the city at 35 miles per hour. Buildings collapsed, people died, and entire streets were buried. The disaster led to stricter industrial safety laws, written in molasses,